Okay. What a day. Come on. Wake up, YouTube. There we go. I'd love if somebody bought YouTube from Google. That would be nice. Okay, that worked. You can ditch that. Leave that to upload. And we are connected to VATSIM. Just ground 121.9er. Can ditch this one. Okay, I think we're operating pretty lean. Memphis to Toronto. And Kraken airplane MD-11. Let's get moving. Battery on. Standby power to arm. That will give me a dome light. So we shall go to the FB. Ground ups. Request a ground power unit. Cockpit door and cargo main and the stairs.
Autopilot.
Alrighty. Let's get the light situation sorted out here. Get rid of that dome light. Don't want them too bright. That's about good. Gonna get rid of the yoke. And nav lights are actually already on. Okay. Throttles are in idle. Speed brake is retracted. Flaps are up. Parking gear lever is down. Let's go and do the overhead flow. IRS is to nav mode. Test is good. Cargo temp low, that's fine. Engine ignition switches, we'll do that later when we're ready to start. Hydraulic panels are all faulted, that's normal. Electrical panel, we have ground power connected. Air conditioning panel's fine. Fuel panel is okay. I'd love to be able to change the state and not be with 36,000 pounds in each of the 3 tanks every time I log in. Emergency exit lights go to arm. And those are tested. Passenger signs, no smoking on, seatbelts auto. Okay, engine APU fire test.
Engine 1 fire. Engine 2 fire. Engine 3 fire. Engine 1 fire.
Okay, let us start up the APU then. And everything looks pretty much okay there. Annunciator light test.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Okay. Let's get our radios over to Memphis ground 121.9er. And we'll put the tower on standby 119.7. Okay. VHF1 mic's on. So the route to Toronto, we shall unload that and import the new one. There. Okay, MD-11, November 599, Foxtrot Echo, FedEx 128. Air distance 767 miles. Alternate is, I think that's Kitchener. I might be wrong. No step climbs, cruising altitude 370. Wheels up, wheels down, 1 hour 48 minutes. Block fuel 47,000 pounds. Zero fuel weight 36,017. Takeoff weight 405, so we're very, very light compared to the maximum takeoff weight. And the route Carson 7 departure, so I'm gonna go call ATC now. Memphis ground, good day. FedEx 128 requesting IFR to Toronto.
FedEx 128 Heavy, you can expect PDC.
Expect PDC, FedEx 128, thank you. Line RS is okay, gladly. PDC has been received. Carson 7, Hums transition. Nuber 6 from query. 370, squawk 1376. Maintain 5,000. Expect 370 10 minutes after departure. And squawk 1376. And we're gonna be 5,000. Okay. Okay, back to the route gig. Kilo Mike, Echo Mike. To Charlie, Yankee, Zulu. Put this in plan mode. Alternate is Charlie, Yankee, Tango, Romeo. None? Okay, return, that's fine. Buckshot Delta X-ray 128. Initialize. Flight level 370. Cost index is 75. Position ref page 2. We are 2.7 minutes left in the alignment. Okay, the weights, the good old weights page. So our zero fuel weight is 36017, but we're gonna go down to the payload, 106,800 pounds. Block fuel is 47,100. Taxi fuel is 2,000. And the trip fuel, gotta get that from up here, 27,000. So our zero fuel weight is 360.1. Which is perfect. And our block fuel was 47.1. Takeoff gross weight for 6.8. Yeah, but we're gonna knock out some of that, but that's okay. Takeoff center of gravity is 30.6. And zero fuel weight CG 26.6. Okay, they're not giving me an ATIS here, so to go get the METAR. Winds 120 at 6. Visibility is 10 miles. Temperature 26. 3006 on the altimeter. Okay. And apply weight and balance to the aircraft. And I don't need to apply it to the FMS. Did it already. I think that's a new option actually. Okay, ground ops. We can close the main cargo door and the cockpit door and get rid of the stairs. APU is available now. We'll select the bleeds. And external power can go. And we'll disconnect that. Park brake is set, so we can get rid of the chocks. Okay, overhead is clean. We have the weight and weather done. Gotta plug the route in. Memphis Sid, Carson 7 from 18 Center.
Citation 680 Victor
Tons.
Mike at intersection Bravo,
Insert.
requesting taxi to parking.
680 Victor Mike, taxi to signature via Sierra Alpha Charlie.
Sierra Alpha Charlie 680 Victor Mike.
Okay. So it is going to be planning for runway 23 on the Newbert 6. That we should get those charts up. Airports. Departure Carson 7. Ribs, Panair. Okay, no major constraints. We have a limitation of 5,000 anyway from the PDC. And Toronto, arrival Newbur 6 for runway 23, this one. And according to the flight plan, we are, query is the transition. Taking us up to Saturn. And a 2-3 approach chart. ILS. A new deck. Okay, got everything I need. Query. Oh, I gotta do this. Gotta go I-23, I forgot. I haven't flown this in a while. There's new deck, okay. Alright, all that looks good. Insert that. And let's go back to the flight plan.
Thank you so much for your ATC, signing off 680 Victor Mike. See ya.
That all looks genius. Wow. Would you look at that? That's just nice.
That was 623, radio check. That's 623, I can hear you, but you're kind of staticky.
Okay, routes in, and finally, performance. So, takeoff performance. We're going to use SimBrief to assist us here. 405, 307, that looks good. That's good. That's good. Calculate. Flaps 15. Flex temp 59. Flex temp 59. Our headwind component is 5 knots, so slope 0. And I think it's 05H if I have that correct. Oop, nope. HD. If I do that and HD 05. It's been a while since I've flown this bird. There we go, got it. Outside air temperature is 26. I think you need to put the C in there for the Celsius. Yep. Flaps 15. Stabilizer trim is 4.7, and we actually have V1-135. Which is very close there. The rotate is 147. And V2 is 157. And thrust limits, yeah, it's just a flex, regular flex derated, already done. And we are good to go. Take a look outside. Everything is clear. See, where are my charts? Airport. So actually, I can push out of here without his permission because this is not considered an active taxiway.
Alright, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready. Great news, Captain, your tow's coming.
Let's go. Alright, V2 is 157, so we'll go 167. Set.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Beacon light on. Let's go, Joe. Let's get pushing back here.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go. Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Okay, now we go to the engine ignition switch alpha. We're gonna do engine 3 first. And 2. And fuel switch to on. Engine 1.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake. And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
Last but not least, engine 2.
And we're disconnected. Signaling pin on the right. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
See ya. Okay, flight control check. Full up. Check. Full down. Check. Neutral check. The alarm left is good. The other one right is good. Rudder left and rudder right is good. Stabilizer trim 4.7. Okay. Flaps 15. Taxi lights on. And release the parking brake. Coming up on spot 6 Whiskey. Memphis ground, FedEx 128 heavy coming up on spot 6 Whiskey, ready for taxi for 18 center. Is he still around? Oop, looks like the ATIS is there.
FedEx 128 heavy, 18 center, taxi Victor Bravo, approach runway 27 on Bravo.
Victor Bravo, cross 27 on Bravo. Yeah, FedEx 128 heavy, thanks. Victor Bravo, so it's the left after Yankee. Spoilers armed.
Memphis ground Delta 1577 looking to pick up IFR to Atlanta. We have information, Victor.
Delta 1577, I do not have a flight call for you.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me take a look. Thought we found it.
Okay, 3006, that's fine. Do 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 do. Ay ay ay. Okay, we are good on the right hand side. And left looks handy as well. We'll strobe this for the crossing. Man, those strobe lights are savage.
Memphis ground Delta 1577 just filed it, so hopefully you'll get it here in a moment.
Clear, good. I'm working on it now.
Much appreciated.
I recognize that guy's accent. Is that joking? Is that Basil Hayden? I think it might be Basil Hayden. Okay, Memphis Tower is still up and alive. We'll get 122.8 sorted after that.
FedEx 128 Heavy, contact Tower 119.7.
1970 FedEx 128 Heavy, have a good day.
Alright, will do. Thank you. American 3828.
Yeah, of course, I'll
Memphis Tower, hello, FedEx 128 Heavy, holding short 18 center at Bravo.
FedEx 128 Heavy, Memphis Tower, wind 150 at 6, or ribs for weight 18 center, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 18 center, RNAV ribs, FedEx 128 Heavy. We are cleared for takeoff. Not sure why the APU is not going off, but it's going off now. Stabilized. Toga. Takeoff thrust set. $80 knots. V1. Rotate. Gear up.
FedEx 124 heavy frequency change approved. See you.
Good income, FedEx 128 heavy. Good day. Go at nav mode. FMS speed.
$2,500. Altitude. Stabilizer motion.
Continue on up to 10,000. The power on this thing is absolutely crazy.
Stabilizer motion. Altitude.
Let's keep going up to 370 now. Again, notice on this airplane is the flight director is extremely sensitive. Flaps up. That's late and sensitive. Other than that, it's a very, very easy airplane to fly. It's very good. Provided you've got the airspeed, the control surfaces are really... You can feel the inertia of the airplane. I think Rotate have done a great job. That's enough hand flying there. Go to... AP. AP1 engaged. Gotta do some tidying up. Landing lights off and retracted. Nose light off. Runway turn off, lights off. Bye bye, Memphis. It's such a weird aircraft. It's so unlike. It shares some similarities actually with the Airbus, but there's a lot of quirky stuff. Layout is funny. Menus are a bit odd. The engine page. Altitude error at Tasku. This is a very common occurrence with the MD-11. Tasku 6000, so it's probably thinking it's too steep. So Tasku 6000. So man up is 8,000 or above the 6,000, so I've got 9 miles to drop 2,000 feet. That should be no problem.
All stations with this tower closing in 1 minute.
I suppose I could go over to Unicom. Controller sounds tired. The flight mode annunciator panel is it's actually pretty consistent across the Airbus. There's a couple of weird things. You know, it's got no VNAV. Oh, excuse me. It's got no. I mean, it's got an addition of a flight level change. So right now the speed is on the pitch, so it's just blasting out as much power as it can out of the engines, and it's maintaining speed by the pitch, so the attitude. Yeesh, that looks gammy. very much in pitch mode. So this is kind of the equivalent of a flight level change right now. Not seeing any stars out there. Total air temperature is -4, so let's verge on the side of caution and get the engine anti-ice and the wing and tail on. Okay, I can see the stars now, so
Altitude.
knock off the anti-ice. It's like we got above that cloud layer just in the nick of time as we level off at 370. Twisted Dominator team. Got the add-on from, I bought it from the xplane.org website. It's by Rotate. There's a link in the description of the stream. For this add-on aircraft, which I could probably drop into the chat. Rotate MD-11. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it's a tri-jet. Actually, it has a very patchy history. A lot of accidents, and of course, The most recent being the horrific accident of the UPS MD-11. That's about a year ago now, maybe, that crashed on takeoff in Louisville, Kentucky, killing everybody on board, and it was at least 11 people on the ground as well. But yeah, that is, this is the one. I know it's nighttime outside, so you can't really get a appreciate a proper view of the model, but I think one could say that it's fairly unanimous that the community have really it took a while for the developer to get through the updates, and I mean, it was a pretty good launch version, but they had to go through quite a few updates to get it to where it is today, and it is a very difficult plane to land because it has such a high VREF and V approach, and that's even true in real life. That is, MD-11 pilots have widely reported that it is a very challenging plane to land. Of course, in comparison to the other planes, the Airbuses and the other Boeings and stuff. Like if you're not flaring, if you haven't started your flare by 50 feet radio altitude, you might be running into a bit of trouble. And particularly if your airspeed is a little on the low side, you know, if you're 5 knots below your designated approach speed, then things can get a little hairy. But I think it's a great add-on. Now, I'm looking forward to X-Plane releasing the next version of the sim. Oh, they can get a cabin altitude of 6,000 feet at 37,000. That is excellent. 6,000 feet is really, really good. Must have been a comfortable airplane to be a passenger in, actually. Most airplanes are well over 7, nearly 8,000 feet cabin altitude. Except the Dreamliner. I think the Dreamliner is the biggest. The Dreamliner has the best cabin altitude because of its carbon fiber hull can take a lot more stress. They don't give us the Delta P, do they? They just give us just a cabin. Maybe in the air section. No, you wouldn't find it there. Oh no, we do have Delta P, 8.6 pounds per square inch right now on the fuselage. So that's quite a lot of force pushing out on the fuselage. That air just wants to get out there to that super low pressure atmosphere outside. Really just dealing with a almost direct crosswind. Alt error at Tasku again. Sometimes you have to put in your own altitude constraints sometimes. At 6,000. Let's see if that did it. It's actually Trenton. Welcome again, Malky. Doing something different. Doing some short haul cargo ups up to Toronto. Welcome to the adventure. I think we've been airborne for maybe 15 minutes. 20. It's a pretty short flight. I mean, top of descent is at 744 Zulu. What are we at now? We are about an hour from top of descent. Don't really have any VATSIM ATC. It is rather late. Oh, has the stream frozen? No, it looks okay. There's not a lot to see. It's dark as hell outside. I think we had a no. I thought we had a moon. Maybe not. We don't have the moon to help illuminate the clouds. Ooh, we're getting a bit of illumination up there ahead. I see what you mean, but I do prefer night flying for the landings and takeoffs. I think seeing all the runways lit up with the blue and green and red, it's pretty awesome. Altitude air at Tasku again. Pocket City, Evansville, Vortec. Online traffic. You can do VATSIM, live traffic, and active ATC. Oh, that's pretty neat. I haven't used Navigraph and Navigraph charts in years, bro. It's got some telemetry here as well. guess this would be the view for the where's the jump seat? This the jump seat? Is it stowed away? Can I release the jump seat? Oh man. They should have allowed the jump seat to be rotated. Rotate should be able to rotate the jump seat. Maybe there is a way to do it, but I can't figure it out. It's a pretty cool cockpit though. What's our speed going to be at Tasco? I mean, we're going to be 210. Runway 23. Runway 23 at Toronto Pearson. It is a 11,120 feet with a bit of a displaced threshold. On the approach end, I got an enormous amount available, but what's nice is that I can take Juliet 2 to join Juliet and then Juliet Delta right into the FedEx ramp, so super short taxi after the landing. As we approach Indianapolis down there. 7:44, top of descent, so we are 36 minutes away from top of descent. Yeah, man, we are over, that's Indianapolis down there. And those spotty black patches are actually clouds. The cloud layer below us. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any ATC in Toronto, and it looks like there's not even super quiet there. Where's this guy going? He's going to Honolulu from Boston. God bless him. Okay. Let's get the weather in Toronto. So 700 Zulu. That's 12 minutes old. Winds are 320. at 3 knots on a super calm wind. Availability is not 10 statute miles, but F-15 statute miles. Altimeter 3007. Oh, nice. They give us the density altitude is 900 feet. That's pretty unusual. Density altitude is 900 feet. The airport's already at 240 feet, so. That is nothing to be writing home about. Hello, Vintage Pilot 24. Welcome to the stream. We are a little under half an hour from the top of descent into Toronto. Welcome aboard this FedEx cargo flight in the MD-11. Pretty quiet. We had ground and tower at Memphis, our departure airport, but it's been Unicom all the way, and there's just not a lot of VATSIM traffic in the air. Weather is good. There's absolutely no turbulence, and yeah, weather looks good in Toronto. Winds are pretty much calm. We'll be landing runway 23 and a very short taxi off of 23 to the FedEx ramp. You just landed in Beirut for real, or you were flying there in the simulator? I assume you mean were you streaming the Beirut flight? Ah. Yeah, I gotta do that. I haven't flown into Beirut. I've flown to a lot of places in the simulator. I'm pretty sure Beirut is not one of them. Should check it out. It's probably, what's Beirut? 12 hours ahead. 12 hours ahead of me. I'm on Pacific time, so. I'm 8 hours behind GMT. It's just been a crosswind all the way. Did you have the Alitalia 1965 livery as well? Very cool. Let me guess, was it a 1965? What was Alitalia flying in 1965? It's probably BAEs or something. Twin turboprop? Did it even have turboprops in 1965? Oh, wow. Wow. What an amazing looking plane. French company. Rome to Beirut. That's not so bad. That's a... was that about an hour? Wheels up, wheels down? Maybe a little more. Hour and 10 minutes, maybe? 1:15? $7:43. Oh, the backlighting, the instrument backlighting didn't illuminate. Yeah, that can be brutal. So it's really just a cockpit floodlight that's illuminating the instruments. Oh, yeah, of course. 1.7. It's just flight feels like it's taking forever. Oh, you did it from VOR to VOR. That's cool. I used to enjoy, actually I still do from time to time, taking the old 172 out cross country, VOR to VOR. You know, the good old-fashioned pre-GPS navigation, turning the dials on the OBS, the OBI, excuse me. $7:43, top of descent. It's 17 minutes away. You know, I haven't flown this MD-11 in probably 40 flights ago. It's gonna be interesting to see how I can handle the landing. Although we are very light. We're going to be coming in pretty fast, 150 knots. That's with the is the Sud Aviation, who's the developer? who's the add-on developer for that? Is that a, that's 35. If I go flaps 50, V approaches 144. I'm actually gonna, oops, I'm gonna stay 35. It's actually easier to land when the approach speed is higher. Yeah, the winds have just been crosswinds the whole time. Winds are 312, 52 knots. Basically a pure crosswind configuration here. The MD doesn't tells you what the winds are, but it doesn't give you the product vector breakdowns. But we are looking to be touching down at my ground speed is 482 and my true airspeed is 482, so it's basically a perfect crosswind. So you like to fly the older generation aircraft? Or do you go through kind of cycles? I gotta check that out. I assume he has a team. He must have a team working for him, or is he doing all of this solo? He's doing all the modeling and the coding by himself? Wow, that is, yeah, I'm just looking at his Patreon page. I'll take a look at some of the YouTube videos. But looks like a Dutch guy. I guess he works for Transavia Holland, I'd imagine. And in his spare time when he's not flying around Europe and whatnot, he is developing airplanes for X-Plane. That is awesome. Good for him. I'm really looking forward to to two things coming up with X-Plane. The next release is supposed to have better ground physics. Now, what that kind of means, they haven't been completely clear. I haven't heard any communications on what improvement of ground physics is. I've always felt that that's not real ATC, that's just VATSIM's auto ATC advising that I should descend to maintain flight level 310, but we're not going to do that. But as I was saying, X-Plane, the next version, yes, custom JFK and the ground physics. I've always felt that I always felt it amazing that, you know, a 300,000-pound jet going down a runway at, you know, 140 miles an hour would have its nose yanked to the left or the right in a 5-knot crosswind. It just seemed, you know, I'm not a real pilot in real life, so particularly in a, you know, Boeing 777 or anything like that, but it just, you know, I am a structural engineer by education and professionally, and so I do know quite a lot of things about, you know, how the world works, and it just seems it never felt right that the ground physics and X-Plane had that kind of sorted out. Plus the inertia, you know, the inertia to move and a 300,000-pound airplane, which already has ground friction with its rubber tires. Boom. Yeah, I don't think that's a fault of the aircraft developer. I think that's something to do with the physics, perhaps in the simulator itself. So, in other words, it's on the laminar side. But again, it's all just intuition. I'm just really... the other thing they said that's going to be out this year is the new way they're they are doing the vector mapping of the world. Basically, more triangles. That'll be cool. The other thing as well was the glass instrument displays will have their own API for developers now, which will have motion vectoring built into. So, basically cutting straight to the chase, that right now in X-Plane, like, you'll notice here, for example, I'm gonna do a quick demonstration, right? So here's my primary flight display, right? So I'm running the simulator at 4K, but I'm only streaming at 2K. So, but either way, that doesn't really matter. So you can kind of see, you know, the 37,000 figure here. It's a little blurry between the zeros and the digits. The hold, I can still read, it says hold, but you know, there's a bit of blurriness to it. It's not like, you know, it's not defined super well. Now when I click on this guy, right, so this window pops out, right? Now I know this is larger, right? Now I can resize this, if I can remember how to resize it. But I can't remember how to resize it, but the crispness of the pop-outs is better than the fidelity of the image when you're viewing from here. I think it has to do with something with how they're rendered. They're rendered actually differently. So the pop-out windows can get a lot more detail and fine-tuning. Whereas when you're viewing the instruments from within the 3D cockpit, I think it's got to do with the OpenGL coding. Again, I'm no software developer, but it should also be the end of anti-aliasing in the glass cockpit displays. Of course, it's going to take time for the developers to be able to use that. So yeah, I think they built that glass cockpit display API themselves, Laminar. I wonder if they've pumped it out to the big developers, add-on developers. Let them get their hands on it early, you know. Yeah, I hear you. Me too, man. Truth of the matter is, I've been able to get some projects done I never coded in my life until about 2.5 months ago. And I was able to get some widgets for the channel done. The overlay, the stream overlay, I was able to get all that done from scratch. And really it was just bullying AI bots to write the code for me. I would tell it what I wanted and it would spit out, you know, a big skeleton piece of code, and then I would, you know, run it and kind of go, it's not quite right. But so I was kind of basically being the master bully to the AI. We eventually got it. Learned some things along the way. Okay, we are It seems like an eternity, but we are basically at top of descent now, so I'm gonna drop down. I'm just gonna select 30 for now. And phew. Feel like a big weight is off my shoulders after hitting that top of descent. You know, it was a really cool project because I did it all with the Gemini, Google Gemini AI. It wrote all the back-end code and all the front-end code for the overlay. But it was interesting to learn about WebSockets and, you know, not polling explain too much and not polling SimBrief too much, you know. It was a very eye-opening experience. But yeah, it's like hieroglyphics. All right, what's my first altitude constraint on this approach? Query, so it's Rocktow 15,000 or below 1,000 and above. Okay, so it just basically split the difference and said it's gonna be 13,000. Fair enough. So we're gonna go down to 13,000. Yeah, it was brutal. I didn't stream or fly for 2 weeks. I literally, it was like unbelievable brow busting experience getting the AI to get what I needed. But there was some pretty cool logic things as well, like, you know, figuring out the phases of flight, you know, what are going to be the telemetry criteria for when the pushback finishes and the taxi out begins, and when do I go from taxi out to the takeoff phase. So figuring out all that logic was actually an enjoyable part of it. Honestly, the thing which really drove me crazy the most was the thing that drove me completely insane was the cosmetics, the CSS with container bars and containers and containers and flex column and flex absolute position, and I'm like, oh my god, this stuff's insane. I think the people who wrote CSS back in the 1990s don't understand it still. Anyway, let's zoom out a little bit here. Alright, we're coming up on Newbur, and we are maintaining our descent path, which is good. We're getting a little bit faster than what we should be doing, but that's okay. Oh, that's brutal. Was it an RPM drive? It wasn't the solid state drive, was it? That absolutely sucks. I mean, I hope there wasn't any other valuable stuff on it. See if we can get another METAR here for Toronto. Nah, it's the same. 0700 Zulu. Oh, 50 minutes old. 3007. So we'll set the altimeter to 3007. And our V approach is going to be 150. The winds are, yeah, the winds are basically negligible, 3-knot wind. Got a Rocket 3. I'm actually going to take control of the vertical speed here, and I'm gonna get this puppy down to 240 knots because it is one slippery bird to slow down. I'd imagine you lost a lot of stuff, not just overlays. Alright, we'll keep going down. 10,000. Okay, so in an ideal world, the wheels will be touching down at 145 knots. Runway 23, Juliet 2 should be more than good enough. We do auto brake min. We are very light.
Altitude.
Pengo to man up. I think we can chill here at 10,000 for maybe a minute or two. The landing light's on now. Oh my god, so basically your entire studio went up in flames, metaphorically. That is horrendous, man. No one on the ground there in Toronto. You flying on a network in the vintage planes? Okay, let's drop down to 8,000.
Stabilize their motion.
What do you think of this Say Intentions AI thing? I haven't tried it. I've seen YouTube videos on it.
Altitude.
Yeah, I hear you. Some controllers are cool. From time to time you get a controller that just has a, I don't know, having a bad day. Probably needs a bit of an attitude adjustment, but maybe their dog just died or something, but you can get some people who are just like, yikes. Okay, we're gonna continue on down to 6 and we're gonna chill out at 6,000 for a little bit. That wasn't a good sound. Don't find anybody there, but we'll should make an announcement on the CTAF just to be case.
Altitude.
118.7. Toronto Pearson traffic, FedEx 128 Heavy is on a right downwind for runway 23, Toronto. You use pilot to ATC? Okay, go around altitude is 3,000. Missed approach is basically runway heading and then make a climb to 1,100 and then a right-hander to heading 237 and intercept the outbound Toronto VOR radial of 287 to ICDOT. Yeah, like I'm going to do any of that. Get on down to 4. Put the slats out.
Altitude.
Bring my speed down to 200. Don't need the weather any longer. And flaps 15. Toronto Pearson traffic, FedEx 128 Heavy, gonna make a right turn onto base for runway 23, Toronto traffic. Okay, heading mode. 150.
Stabilize their motion.
Drop down to 3,000. I know, man. I was thinking at 10:30, like, you know, oh, I can get a quick flight in before bed. I'll just do Memphis to Toronto. That's not gonna take very long. It's like, dude, that was like 3 hours ago. Let's make a turn to 210 and join the localizer.
Altitude.
Okay, localizer is being intercepted. Toronto traffic, FedEx 128 Heavy, captured the localizer for the ILS runway 23, and we are about 15 miles DME, Toronto.
$2,500.
I wouldn't do racing. I would go for the flying. Your adrenaline is going to go through the roof if you do racing games. Yeah, that's a nice long weekend. Alright, the glide slope bug is on the move. Let's pull ourselves back to 180. Gear down. Have captured the glide slope. Toronto Pearson traffic, FedEx 128 Heavy is fully established on the ILS, runway 23, 7 miles to go, Toronto. Let's go slow down to final approach speed of 150. Spoilers armed, flaps are 35. Go around altitude is set. This should be Juliet 2. Ugh. It's been up too long. Let's get these, not that. Runway turn off lights, gonna get out of here. We just landed and we are at the FedEx cargo ramps. And I'm so tired I need glasses to be able to see straight. Ooh, look at this. They actually have an MD-11 stop point on this little yeah, if you have it, you might as well use it. Okay, is that APU running? Yep. Let's get these engines out of here. No, I haven't tried MSFS24. I have 2020. And, all I remember from FS24 was the initial release. Yeah, have a good night, Vintage P24. Thanks for coming along for the chat. Yeah, she's a fun bird to fly. What do I gotta do here? Shut that down. Gotta shut down the ACARs. Yeah, right back at you. Can kill Navigraph charts. And I don't need the overlays any longer. And we can ditch the VATSIM client plugin and it's a bit of a hard one. That was probably not technically a hard landing, but I think it came down fairly purposefully.
100.
I hate it when they don't do that.
200. 100.
Yeah, it was a floater. Floaters don't end well. I do have to go to bed. I'm completely wrecked. Thanks everybody for joining and hanging in there for what appeared to be the longest Memphis to Toronto experience I've ever had. It just seemed like time was moving at half the pace. We'll see you guys around.